morning. This is GBS Morning Extra. My name is Tom Mwam as usual. And being on Friday today, we have a lot, and I mean a lot lined up for you. So don't have to go too far. We have musicians, we have heart coach, we have just everything for you. So you have every reason to keep it glued right here on GBS Morning Extra. For now, just join the conversation. Hashtag GBS Morning Extra. SMS line 21144 as usual. Keep the SMS coming. Just tweet, text. We'll be sampling some of them as you continue with the show. And of course, follow us on our social media platforms. Hashtag GBS Morning Extra, GBS Kenya TV on Twitter, on YouTube. Of course, we are streaming live. So if you are going out, just follow us on YouTube and you'll be entertained by the end of the day. But for now, let's go straight to the news before we start those things that GBS Morning Extra starts right now. And State House intruder Brian Kibet has finally spoken out in court and apologized for his actions, claiming that he was not in his right sense, but is ready not to go back to his ways.
Shida ni kukaa kwa polisi, nimeumia sana. Na kufungwa kwa pingu kwa kitanda hospitali pia nimeumia sana. Nilikuwa naomba mahakama inisamee niende, sitairudia makosa ambayo nimefanya, na namuomba Rais Uhuru Kenyatta na wananchi wa Kenya na waomba msamaha.
According to a local daily, the charges against him were not read because a mental health assessment by Mathari Hospital revealed the university student is schizophrenic. Schizophrenia, according to the World Health Organization, is a severe mental disorder characterized by profound disruptions in thinking, affecting language, perception, and sense of self. Kibet found himself on the wrong side of the law on Monday, June 10, 2019, where he attempted to scale a State House wall while brandishing a knife. Police officers who guard the premises shot him on the shoulder, and he was taken to Kenyatta National Hospital for treatment.
Now, the first issue about treatment is to accept that you are unwell. Once you start blaming other people, it becomes very difficult to assist you. Do you appreciate the fact that you are unwell? Do you agree that you are unwell and you need assistance?
The reason I was fleeing from home and walking long distances is because I wanted to be a fisherman. So I was not unwell.
You are not
Unwell.
I wanted to be a fisherman.
In Mombasa.
Kibet is a fifth-year mechanical engineering student at the Jomo Kenyatta University of Agriculture and Technology. His family on Wednesday requested the court to allow police transfer him to the Moi Teaching and Referral Hospital, where he had earlier received mental health treatment.
Admitting him in Mathari Hospital.
You are agreeable to him being admitted at Mathari?
Pardon?
You would like him to be admitted at Mathari?
The court will rule on the family's request on Thursday, but the police want him remanded in Mathari Hospital in Nairobi until he is fit to take a plea.
So you find the person keeps on relapsing all the time and going into that condition. It is an issue that is being addressed so that the matter can be shortened with that procedure. So I will then have you, as requested by the prosecutor, I'll have the accused person remanded at...
And it's a joy for the families and members who lost their loved one in the Garissa University attack that happened on 2015 April. After the courts jailed some of the suspected attackers and give them stiff punishments.
Following the attack on April 2nd, 2015 that claimed 148 students' lives at Garissa University, Chief Magistrate Francis Ndai concise message at Milimani Law Court on Wednesday when he gave a life sentence to Tanzanian and 41 years each to the two Kenyans co-accused for carrying out the attack. Ndai said that intentions of taking out lives shall never go unpunished. He noted that lives were lost and the country left in fear and rage, and that a lot of attacks have taken place in Kenya since the Garissa University attack took place. On June 19, the court found Mohammed Ali Abdikar, Hassan Aden Hassan, and Rashid Charles Mberesero guilty of conspiring to commit committing an attack and being members of an outlawed group. And I ruled that Tanzanian, who was found in the institution and could not identify himself, which led to his arrest, is to serve a life sentence for conspiring to commit a terrorist attack. A probation report handed to court before sentencing indicates that Mberesero wants to join Al-Shabaab once he finishes his sentence. The chief magistrate in his speech said that everyone in the world understands the outcome of a terrorism attack. He added that the lives lost were innocent, helpless, hopeless and vulnerable, but all was slaughtered mercilessly. He pointed that this could be the first case in Kenya where many lives were lost, gone to trial, reached completion while considering all the procedural rules. Esther Ithera, GBS Morning Extra.
And it has been a busy week in court, especially for the arrest and also the release of the Starehe Member of Parliament, Charles Jagwa, alias Jagwa. And of course, again, this week, the State House digital strategist, Dennis Itumbi, was also arrested and denied bail yesterday.
In the corridors of justice this week, Starehe MP Charles Jagwa was finally freed on a cash bail of 500,000 shillings after he denied charges of incitement to violence. The MP was accused of making racist remarks in a video that went viral on social media. He was captured threatening to invade premises of foreigners doing business in the CBD, which is within the constituency. Jagwa was held in police custody since last week, Wednesday. He was arraigned in court a day later, where the prosecution sought to detain him for 14 days to allow them complete investigation. His remarks elicited mixed reaction locally in neighboring Tanzania, where members of parliament expressed their dissatisfaction with the MP's remarks. In other news, Digital Director in the Communication Department of Presidency, Dennis Itumbi, was picked up from a city restaurant and driven to the Directorate of Criminal Investigation headquarters for questioning about a letter alleging a plot against Deputy President William Ruto. The allegations saw 3 cabinet secretaries from Mount Kenya region summoned by detectives for questioning. Itumbi has lately been operating from the Deputy President's Harambee House Annex building and has stepped up publicity campaigns for Ruto. Itumbi was later held at Muthaiga police station, where another suspect picked on Tuesday is being detained. He said that he declined to record a statement, adding that he had nothing to say about the matter. Reporting for GBS Morning Extra, Sharon Maloba.
And the airline manufacturer Boeing has set aside $100 million to compensate victims of the plane crashes that happened early last year.
Boeing said on Wednesday that it will allocate $100 million to help the families and communities affected by the recent crashes of 2 of its 737 MAX jets. The move was among the most unconcealed acknowledgements of Boeing's responsibility in the crashes, which were caused in part by a malfunctioning anti-stall system on the new jets. It will also add to Boeing's malfunctioning costs as the company faces lawsuits from victims' families, investigations by federal authorities, and calls for compensation from airlines. The chief executive officer of Boeing, Dennis Muilenburg, expressed their regrets for the lives lost in both accidents and condoled with the affected families. The families of some victims of the crashes have filed numerous lawsuits against the company and are requesting millions of dollars in damages and trauma costs. Some families of the victims of Lion Air Flight 610, which crashed after taking off from Indonesia in October, were pressured to sign settlement agreements that barred them from suing Lion Air or Boeing. The company alleged that $100 million investment will be made over multiple years and its employees will contribute funds as well. Boeing said that the money will be used to support education, hardship and living expenses for impacted families, community programs and economic development in impacted communities, and will be working hard with the local government and non-profit organizations to distribute the funds. Emmanuel Ouma for GBS TV.
Thank you so much, Emmanuel Ouma, for that report. And of course, that's all we have today for the news recap. I hope you are now updated what is happening around you. And of course, we'll keep in touch and of course updating you of what is going to happen throughout the day. So just keep it right here in GBS. And of course, join the conversation right now. Hashtag is GBS Morning Extra. It is Friday, so it's all about entertainment. And as usual, you know, when Friday comes, what you usually do right here on GBS Morning Extra. Let's now focus on the newspapers. We start the Daily Nation. The Daily Nation, the splash is all about Bob Collymor's final hours with Uhuru. President Uhuru Kenyatta also describing his final hours with the former telco giant CEO, Bob Collymore. A mass service that was held yesterday. And of course, there's also the genius failed by assassin's bullet. Talk about the 50 years down the line after Tom Mboya was assassinated. And there's also the story of a blogger who turned a state house employee, that is Dennis Itumbi, also claiming that he has the video and audio evidence for the plot to assassinate the Deputy President, Dr. William Ruto. There's also another story that you should grab your copy of Daily Nation and also read more about that story. Police go for leaders with illegal guns. A political storm is brewing after the police established that half of elected leaders own guns without licenses. And of course, there's also the new curriculum circus that continues at the Ministry of Education. The current grade 3 pupils should sit for a national examination in the next 3 years, but will they? That's a question. They're still not clear whether pupils in grade 3 or grade 6 or grade 9 will be sitting for the national examination. Still a lot of concern about that. And that's the splash on the Daily Nation. Of course, also the images of the mass that happened at the Holy Basilica All Saints Cathedral, yesterday, which was presided over by the President Uhuru Kenyatta, who led Munas and celebrated the life of the late Safaricom CEO boss. So we can also read that. And of course, the story of the Tom Mboya and his greatest undoing on page 11 of the Daily Nation, treating Kenyatta like his junior was Mboya's greatest undoing. They say that this was the point where Tom Mboya marked his downfall, as we say per se. And of course, on the generation, the pullout, talking about the generation Y. So about this, how ideal workplace should look like. You can read more about that. Times have changed, and so our workplaces, millennials are stepping up to take up their place in job market as older folks exit the scene. So about how the workplaces have changed. The story of curriculum, and of course, Harambee Stars arrived yesterday from Cairo after they were eliminated by Senegal, and because of the goal differences. You can also read that on the Daily Nation. Let's look at the Standard. The Standard talking about Ruto now wants Raila lawyers out of Weston Hotel court case. Deputy President wants to bar lawyers James Orengo and Otiende Amolo from representing Kenya Civil Aviation Authority, citing conflict of interest. Remember the Weston Hotel saga over the grabby land, and of course all that issues. And the DP's head, that is Dennis Itumbi, I got the Lamada secret tapes. Secretary of Digital Media of State House Dennis Itumbi sensationally claims he has a video and audio evidence that the group that discussed the elimination of the deputy president. And ex-Kiambu chief officer spills the beans on the county. That is the former finance boss, says public properties have been transferred to individuals who include the relatives of Kiambu leadership. That's on the Standard. And President Uhuru Kenyatta yesterday talks about a promise. Uhuru Kenyatta tells of promise that Bob Collymore did not keep. President Uhuru Kenyatta yesterday gave a moving recollection of how Bob Collymore broke news of his failing health. And of course, everybody yesterday in that mass was talking about how they had a good time with the Safaricom CEO, and how the CEO was determined, and how he loved Kenya more than some of the Kenyans themselves. And of course, in the sports, Mane faces Onyango in AFCON Stars showdown. Onyango, the Ugandan goalkeeper, we hope that they are going to revenge on our behalf. And we are fully supporting Uganda, by the way. So, and of course, the safari rally that is expected to be flagged off today by the President Kenyatta at Kasarani, Moi International Stadium, Kasarani. Mavi Bryan, co-driver by Drew Stackon in Skoda Fabia, will be first of the ramp today at Kasarani in defining safari rally event. Of course, Kevin Nyariki coming up with his post. We'll discuss more about that. And the Star also talking about the goodbye Bob. That's concerning the death of the former Safaricom CEO, Bob Colimo, on Monday this week. It's all about reflections and what happened and how family and friends were prepared by him before his departure. And of course, Itumbi claims to have a video evidence of plot to assassinate Deputy President DP Ruto. We had also highlighted that earlier on. And Ministry of Interior, Matiang'i Ministry put on the spotlight over 15 billion faulty CCTV cameras. The Ministry of Interior was yesterday put on the spot over 15 billion faulty CCTV surveillance system and security installations in Nairobi and Mombasa. There are claims that some of the those CCTV cameras that costed the country over 15 billion are not working. And of course, we have the editorial cartoon here. It is somehow sarcastic. Police zeroing in on who is trying to kill Ruto. You can see the police having a microscope. Of course, corridors of power, decision by Gema chairman Lawi Matthew to reaffirm that President Uhuru Kenyatta will be Mount Kenya's undisputed leader even after 2022. This is another twist in the Jubilee political wars, as Mount Kenya say the president still has a say in that region. And there's another concern of the taxman, KRA. Remember, the Star has been running stories about how Kenyans are burdened this week by heavy taxation. And of course, they have another very sensational headline here. Kikuyus dominate KRA. Taxman tells Parliament members of Kikuyu community hold firm grip in on the country's tax collection, holding almost half of the senior executive positions at the Tax Bureau. And Ouko unearthed irregular added million procurement of education procurement in the Ministry of Education. Also, another query is raised by Auditor General Edward Ouko. And of course, you can join the conversation. That's all we have for the newspaper review. I'm joined by a very good gentleman here, a mentor, artist mentor. Of course, his name is Francis Achari. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm very fine.
Okay, and I hope all is well in terms of what you're doing. And of course, can you briefly tell us what do you do exactly?
Good morning, viewers. My name's Francis Achari, as you said, and I'm engaged into helping youths and young people see how they can be able to bring out their talent. It goes beyond art, but that's what I do.
Okay.
Yes.
And which art specifically? Do you choose either between music, between drama, or it's just all round, all art inclusive?
Yeah, we do. We go. It's an all-rounded art.
Okay.
Because myself, I'm a fine artist, creatives. I'm a painter. I've been able to be trained in that, and I've also taught in schools. I've been in community prisons and some rehabilitations.
Okay.
But then we also thought that we should be able to include music. Recently, we have a music band. We also want to train young people, see how they can develop their musical talent. We now also have a drama group.
Okay.
We may go beyond that, but at the moment, we are arts.
Okay.
Yes.
And now tell us about your organization.
I work with Archery Arts. Archery now, in this sense, it's not my name.
Okay.
It's the art of shooting using a bow and arrow. Yes, and that name has a meaning of what you're doing because we are looking at every talent of art, any type of art, as an arrow. We want to use that actually to be able to target the people that are broken, are going through issues in life, need help, to use art as a means of being able to reach them and be able to help them.
Okay.
Yes, so that goes every aspect of the arts here are the arrows music, fine art, and drama.
Okay.
Yes.
And for how long have you been doing all this?
Since I remember we had our first exhibition in 2006.
Okay.
But Archery Arts began last year. We are yet to launch it this year. We shall be in at the Michael Joseph Center, September,
Okay.
from 7th to 11th. That will be our launching. Because initially we used to work with fine artists only. It was exclusively fine artists. But then this time round, we are including the other talents. So the first time we're going to have music as a band and drama should be this year with Archery Arts.
Okay.
Yes.
And what's the process of joining your team? Like for the artists, how can they join Archery?
We look at two things here, competence and character. We don't let either. One has to be determined to excel as to work excellently as an artist, but at the same time, character also is very important to what we are doing.
Okay.
So we look into those two things. So we have a process whereby we initiate. After we do ministry, or I'm calling it ministry because it helps to the public, we allow the people heading the departments to be able to help us know who can be able to be part of the team.
Okay.
Yes.
And how do you use art to help in controlling the drug addiction and, of course, the drug issues among the youth?
Well, that's a very good question. I'll say, could be I can tell a little story on what has happened in Kamitia, because art by itself, especially fine art, painting, is a form of language. This is something that you can be able to use to communicate. Initially, it was intended to communicate to people, not just to be for aesthetic value. And so in committee, we had a class, an 8-month program, short course, that we started with the inmates. It went through the 8 months, and then after the course, we were doing both apprenticeship and discipleship.
Okay.
So we are able to get, you know, when you get into such a place and you say this is a church program, you get the Muslims out of it. But when you bring it as art program, you'll get everybody in. So we have a short point of being able to use scriptures in a subtle way to help people within the program.
Okay.
And at the end of it, we got good results.
Okay.
So another way that you can be able to use art art can be therapeutic. You'll be able to know what somebody is going through by what they draw or the colors they choose to work with. Since we had this great artist called Picasso. I don't know if you've heard of him.
Yeah, I know him.
Yeah, Picasso, Pablo Picasso.
Yeah.
Yes, so this guy, when he was going through some depression in his life, he used a lot of cool colors. Those are blues, purples, and that.
Okay.
Then when he went through, from that point, he was able now to start using what we call rose colors. Those are red, orange, yellow, such.
Okay.
So when you see somebody, when you give an assignment to inmates, they don't have to be artists. Just give them, not only inmates, anybody that you're working with at the point, yeah? When they begin to use some colors, you'll be able to know what this person is going through. So it can be therapeutic.
Okay, and how was archery, is it Archery Arts?
Yes.
Yeah, how was Archery Arts transformed the lives of the youth?
Now, as I had said earlier, Archery Arts will be launched this coming September. But before we worked with other organizations, these were community-based organizations. So our place of, I'll say our field of mission was in Makadara Estate.
Okay.
We used paintings whereby we were able now to see art is beautiful, art can be fun, it attracts.
Okay.
And we saw how this enabled youths to come. They were not artists, some of them started trying to do some artwork because they loved it, but then they ended up doing other things. Okay. So it was used to attract them. Then we started a program that was able to help them know what they are. Okay. So today, some of them are playing soccer, still in our group. Some of them are doing music, they're doing keyboard, and different other arts, but they started with arts. Actually, fine art attracted them, but they were able now, through the program of discipleship,
Okay.
Art is meant to bring them, then we do what we do with them when they have come.
Okay, and where can you be found? Where are your offices?
We are
or how can person who wants to contact you reach you?
We are at Kiserian, just between Rong and the center, there's a place called Mugima.
Okay.
That's where we are. That's where we are working. That's where we have a center, a school, and our office right there.
Okay, on social
and
media.
a small gallery.
Okay, and on social media, are you also available?
Yeah, we are working on a website right now for archery now.
Okay.
Very soon we are going to be with our own website.
Okay, thank you so much. We'll be glad to have you. Maybe we'll deliberate more about the launch that's happening on September.
September 7th.
Okay.
Michael Joseph.
Okay, I'll give you like 30 seconds to maybe to talk to someone who is at home and maybe might want to join Archery Hearts also.
Okay,
you can use this camera.
Okay, thank you. The process is simple. Could be you are an artist, you know that you're gifted with a talent to draw, paint, or do any other artistic sculpture or any type of art. Music and drama also we are open. So I'll like you to come to the place that I've just said, Mugima, because I'm a bit hesitant to give my own number at this point. So I'll just let you contact us through GBS or get us to the center, the Mugima Center,
okay.
Kiserian. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Yes.
Francis Achari,
Yes.
the mentor at organization.
It's an organization.
Okay, Archery Arts organization. Of course, you can contact us if you want to reach them. Of course, if you're an artist or you want to support them, your support is always welcomed. Of course, keep it GBS Morning Extra, hashtag GBS Morning Extra, 21144 SMS line. For now, we are taking a breather. Kevin Yariki is coming up with sports, and of course, later on, we'll have the artistic time. It's all about music. It's Friday, and guess what? It's all ladies' affair today. So don't go too far.